Gilg Jew, Gilg J as Gilg Nerach.
As Illiam COOIDJAGH is an CAARJYN Claare na Gael. My name is Robert Cutting Carswell, Robert the Carslach.
Have you ever had tell about Bobby Bob?
And it's my pleasure to present this programme, which is called Claare na Gael, in part in the English language as ons Perts a Gilg, and in part in the Manx Gaelic, Mina Murray, the mother tongue of Manning, the Isle of Mann. As Barach and Jurish, we've come from Castletown over the slopes of Burrell, down through Foxtel into St John's, and we've come on to Peel following the excursion recommended to us by the Rev Thomas Stephen in his publication from 1832, a poetical guide to the Isle of Mann. Van fairly John Seward and Hidden hug Yiri Refusa de Lucy Westenra, as gedenkelesh. Esh and unlai ren American Quincy P. Morris ko Yiri Refusa de Lucy. Gedenkelesh noda, old the valley graiach an honor royal Arthur Homewood. This coming Tuesday will be the Midsummer Fair by the old style calendar, so we'll celebrate that in this edition of Claare na Gael in music as we set sail for the Secret Island. Tashu geistjach rish radio vanning, stasiwn and ashun, viskuller skeliena was stulish, Allen vanning.
I know a distant land
The Secret Island, a poem by Mona Douglas, set to music and sung by Marlene Hendy, Marlene Masker, with Charles Gard on harp and synthesizer. Pickett and Company's Directory of 1825 describes Peel, and, well, I can't help feeling that the Reverend Stephen actually uses Pickett and Company's Directory. The directory refers to the castle and the more they do, as you might expect of Peel, and goes on. The rocks along the southern shore contain some caves and sinuosities, and on the northern strand, agates and cornelians fit for seals and brooches are occasionally found. So compare that with what we heard from the Reverend Stephen. Along the shores are caves and caverns drear, which well to know ye must yourselves be there. And, if for pebbles you have any taste, search on the sands, and don't be in haste. Agates, cornelians has this shore produced, which as bright gems have gentle ladies used. Well, Pickett goes on to tell us that Peel possesses one good inn. And now the poem says, after you've gleaned the novelties of Peel, and taken at Grant's your lunch or hearty meal, so Grant's, this will be the Caledonian and Liverpool Hotel in Big Street, now Castle Street, and that was owned by Robert Grant, wine and spirit merchant. Giaull and Fairly Seward, yr ale ons phonograph, and Huegoleas feed me walden. Moor rai se vi en bi Jew, chanodum chanodum goilesh. Maar so, Giaull ons in a jeshen. Nirus rem mi surrans flout jay to source de enjacht en follemem. Veg se tail jean de vei scanch de lure de vei few gennu. No de rau fissem de ne overt en ongaurs on lid shaw, hai mi shees master a surrency. Rem mi rai fair jou ter chordau kes on studeris vira nesach. Choach te de vel mi sight jar tiggle gemayes tam mi able. Jew ve jean der en mi kosten a snether day erder you, de cree en foliach degge. Ren mi feest je na slen na van mi dew en jenu. De vodins tikkelt de bollach nie en de jarne zegge. Se nach dem jinushen tam mi vagen nish va put de gauwles. Ve jean der au mi buishel de rele kaarteg oir of ran ledes. Well, now we must have a song about the Isle of Man. Harry Marlow says so.
Every year a song we hear about a little place called the Isle of Man, the giddy Isle of Man. First we sang of Kelly and the chorus used to yell. Then came Flanagan and Kellyland as well. We can do without a lot of things in winter, you'll agree. But when the summer comes around and we go by the sea, we must have a song about the Isle of Man, the Isle of Man, the Isle of Man. We must have a song to make us feel all gay when we go upon a holiday like Meet Me in Kellyland, or something we can shout and bawl. If we didn't have a song to sing as we toddle along, it wouldn't be like the Isle of Man at all. Dr. J. at Douglas Bay was lecturing one night all about fresh air before the students there. Fresh air is the finest thing that you can have, said he. Fill your lungs with it and healthy you will be. Kindly tell me now, he murmured, as those boys he scanned with pride. What must we have to swell our lungs? Then every student cried. We must have a song about the Isle of Man, the Isle of Man, the Isle of Man. We must have a song to make us feel all gay when we go upon a holiday like Meet Me in Kellyland, or something we can shout and bawl. If we didn't have a song to sing as we toddle along, it wouldn't be like the Isle of Man at all.
comedian Harry Marlow, who was chairman of the Variety Artists Benevolent Fund, organised the Royal Variety Show as an annual event from 1921 onwards, and the charity which he chaired duly became the Royal Variety Charity. Harry Marlow, I checked in the papers, I couldn't find his name as having ever visited the island, but there he sang We Must Have a Song About the Isle of Man. Riddenach tam ishana rish na hurrency na cheden is yin en beel nuren. Memorandum. Krijg echt na korn aandouw nach jinnen shana dunit nuren. Omnia Romae Venelia sunt. De gulje veg ons een rauw zondacht had. De prijs eer eg nuren. Verb sap, grw krina. Maar vis oor cochantrische giel shaw be few a lorge een a lorg shaw de kaart. Maar so signed thou gold tijag dat je nu shen maar so. R.M. Renfield, aitat, nai blina jeggers died. Duchus ginnel, njad corpoil vivur, chit de griesich ons ach kwech. Train de gromid, chit gekjaun ons aienjach vis sait as na vodum tickle. Tammy Sheen, de wel een duchus ginnel as een been burach chit gekjaun ons jedda jints en inchin. Fuddy, de ne dunje dangerach Scasolach de ne dangerach me visse, njau zondag. Ons tenje zondag, ta arre, geschiger en elia son de noigenok as een son heen. After you've gleaned the novelties of Peel, and taken at Grant's your lunch or hearty meal, let Coachee drive you southward to Glen Maye, provided sky be clear and earth be dry, over the bridge with arch of ivy gay, you take your easy, comfortable way. Well, this is the Glen Faber Bridge over the River Neb. Before you, woods and gardens picturesque, the Ragged Farm and Corrin's obelisk. Well, he'd drawn our attention to the tower built by Thomas Corrin in 1806 up above Knockalo Beg as we approached Peel. The groves of Ballamore attract the eye. And he glosses this, the groves of Ballamore, with a note simply saying Moore's Place. Again, the Rev Stephen had mentioned Ballamore as we came from St John's to Peel. Ballamore was developed by George Moore, born in 1709, came a rich merchant from the running trade, Speaker of the House of Keys, knighted in 1781, and then Sir George Moore died in 1787. perhaps unseasonable Flitterdaunsey, and then into Illiam Thalhear, played by BIRLINN JIARG. Siodiw stasiwn yn asiwn radio fannym, as tasiw geisdiach rysyn Claare Shaw, Claare na Gael, mish Robert Cutting Carswell, Robert a Carslach.
Did the other hear tell of old Bobby Bob?
Having drawn our attention again to what had been Sir George Moore's property, not far from it, we go on to somewhere else, and Gelling's place on the hillside so high. Now this will be a reference, I think, to Ballacusnahan, one of the female line descending from the Cusnahans, Sage Ann Thomas. Her mother Anne Cusnahan had married Dr. Thomas. This Sage Ann Thomas married Captain John Gelling of Castletown, and he evidently took over the property and became captain of the parish of Kirkpatrick. They had a son, did Sage Ann and John Gelling, and the son was called John Caesar Gelling, and he became a member of the House of Keys and High Bailiff of Ramsey. So having observed Ballamore and now Ballacusnahan as well, St. Patrick's Church you pass on the left hand. The right presents Knockalo's marshy land. Now forward drive adown the steep, and then pursue the rural way to the famed glen, where you will see a crystal waterfall, a murmuring stream descending o'er a wall of massy rock, some few odd feet in height. The scenery around inspires delight, all varied green with ivy, underwood, and waving trees. Well, that was a bit of a sprint, wasn't it, really, to get from Knockalo straight up to the glen at Glen Maye there. Not am I smonion yn chwsio, tret yn per hyn eg y chri, tyniad centripetach corymlisyn centrifugach. Tret a corym, cwsh etc. eg yn chri, she na niat viserd niadl. As chanod ach droch hachert, na straid a roch hacherten, gino coch rimidrich. As nish. Skriwen Quincy P. Morris gus an honor oil Arthur Homewood, and Huegoleas feed me Valden. Ma art veen. Tashin an inch skielen yorish an Isle camp na prairien. As eng oil kereil J. Lodden a chelia le corre berchit a tolle once na Marquesas. As chor Ulanten eg oir Titicaca. Ta skielen Elia range, as Lodden Elia a lenige, as Ulant Elia a chor. Nach genu reiche de be seo ag ma Isle camp been a verach. Tammy braiach dort gin lees de urbi, no de wel fissem de wel ben ser lee currit geskins jenerach enjach, as de wel os ser. Gebiach onveeg Elian, and Shan chum rega en egen gerea John Seward. Well, now CAARJYN COOIDJAGH sing a song that's concerned with ecology. CAARJYN COOIDJAGH and the song Ushag, Bird of the Sea. Dashin chit, yes, as tashin nynys giri co western a jairnain ons goil and cavan fina, as the cor Ulant in Grechend and dunyas manless a cledden tail, ter charsna a crease wujel jinteg g, as an fair share few charsna. Tashin gelden Dutch altige Creole, as banach graiach, as slent geshigge as the lau yeshin. Niemage na nis lou de vergeil staiu me visu cor Ulant raw voer, de pyre lie de Julian. Ta rod, liat serter you as arach Quincy P. Morris. Telegram by Arthur Homewood gus Quincy P. Morris and Sheolaes feed me Walden. Cor me enam shees de hulju geert. Niem cor les chachterachten ni cor klinkerach na klischen jouwischen en yes. Art. As nistashin chitgus cabdil shale, Yorla Mina Murray, and Cheroleas feed Jerasauri, Whitby. Vich Lucy me eggen stashoon. But if you've time, you should protract 2 miles your pleasant evening ride through verdant Dalby by the long seaside. And as he does so, he looks backward to Corin's Tower. There, see the monument of wives again. It well adorns the margin of the main. In front, see Bradder and the calf afar rise o'er the bay. So smooth, old Neptune's car might glide, so beauteous is the marine view, the waves all silver azure and so blue. The lofty distant mountains hazy hue, the awful grandeur the wild crags among, and precipices fearful all along, would take a longer time the whole to explore, with the antiquities along the shore. In a recess where an old chapel stood, the burying place of true Manx royal blood arrests the eye. If now you cannot stay, forget not to attend some future day. Meanwhile the shadows lengthen, buckle to. Return by Patrick to the right, and go, you'll get to Douglas yet before midnight. Well, this is Matt Creer with his song Ends of the Earth.
stop me in the night. You wait until I'm too tired to fight. You hunt me in the darkness. You stop me in the night. You wait until I'm too tired to fight.
Singer, songwriter and multi-instrumentalist Matt Creer, Ends of the Earth. The Reverend Stephen is obviously fascinated by Sir George Moore because, as we return by Patrick, first gallant Ballamore attracts your sight. The ancient residence of a Manx knight, the only titled Manxman, Sir George hight. Here flourished he for years in brilliant style, beloved, respected and renowned the while. His place he beautified where woods arise. The planting of his hand, which far outvies all else in the island, none else there can vie. It bears the stamp of noble ancestry, a gentle race and kind, whom heaven shield. Well, George Moore's attempts to build up Peel as a western port to rival Douglas were thwarted by opposition in Douglas. George Moore was a slave owner, and he gave slaves names of people he didn't like, presumably for the pleasure of ordering them about by those names. In general, he didn't like the Douglas merchants who thwarted him, so his black butler, subsequently bought from him by Francois Thureau, was called Douglas. As ish, Jean the smillish as na sailor na viriu. As Jimmen shin souskus and Tyeg and Choran on to Shameranock. She ball Ellen Shaw. Ta now in Veg an esk right through Corn Down, vis Lienach beggen chaus te chit fagest and furt. Ta drochad voer rai herish, lesh collowan urger. As nin drud ten reed Jean ons acht enjach, de wei na soger sulne te ons riechid. Brau glast and corn, as choenach tre tower and tollawur de dach chow tau Jean cart herish, man a velu fagus de luid de Jean noose. Tyen a chan valja, and chower sulvoin, ta mullion rai or wulju, as ta Jean de wei courage carnenach, and derry year and Elia and zach der be, courage na jollowen da shin fagen Jane Nuremberg. Cart der skinnen valja, tan ab Whitby. Toltenach te. Waar kraag je na dan varrey, as vissen in het son perche marmian, on van nien presunit choustai Jane Vola. Music composed by Hayden Wood in 1952, his Serenade to Youth.
A nation state.
Asún sin na dearú radio vanning na smailiam siúiseáltach agus Claare na Gael. Sé Robert cutting carswell mis Robert a carslach.
Have you heard tell of owl Bobby Bob?
Sé talton fear wujle, James Woods fee boer, as ledden de furt a nelen as romantach. De sjan skielde wel ben wijn ragen als ver Jane onjegen. Eder sjen is een balje te kiel Illiam, een giel skira, as me giet de mooi te rollik, olju ledden de liek Den smudjen empien, sjach en bol scherens Whitby, no de welline lai kart ersken en walje, as de sledden reert en furt, as olju susse waai gus en wold en gaben besit, kettel nes, schiene maag en gien. Tek ol schies goenach ersken en furt, terwijl purtjen vroeg dusjem, as de kustjen aien streit. On son wol, ta purtje over kleine aien, schiene maag herrische gaten reni, voor de foe. Ta cadan en coshion les saigen joru, trud close na killach. As de sly gull as ted nen saien shen fyen kledden lei, gian en reer delen as goil sailje jen flan. Where black books, where black rooks caw and cooing ringdoves build, before you on the right, the vicarage of gay St. Patrick rises. But old age has in that manse outlived vain fashion's rage. Yet fruitful orchards and fair fertile fields to the incumbent a snug living yields, while he on all sides views the verdant groves of all his neighbours, and a river rows beneath his garden, a soft murmuring stream, where he may angle, or where he may dream. Well, the earliest St. Patrick's Church, the parish church, is on St. Patrick's Isle, so was difficult of access. In about 1550, St. Peter's Church had been built in Peel as a chapel of ease for both Kirkpatrick and CAARJYN, difficult of access on St. Patrick's Isle. So St. Peter's was used for both Kirkpatrick and CAARJYN. Then in 1714, a church was consecrated by Bishop Thomas Wilson in Patrick. However, that church itself came to be in a bad state, and its site became part of the present graveyard of Holy Trinity, the present church in Patrick, and that was built in 1881. Well, now the Mollig Band pose the question right now. Quaid and Dinjabach.
je het tot de taaien naar je weg.
Quiet and Dunya Bach, Who's the Poor Man? Words by Chris Sheard and tuned by Dave Spears, performed there by an early manifestation of the Mollick Band, the bassoon. A little on you view the mansion fair of Ballacosna, the debonair. Slopes the smooth lawn and graceful wave the trees, where the fair owner vegetates at ease. Strange thing to say, isn't it? Vegetates at ease. It's a very fine house at Ballacosna with an attractive bode section of it and a small portico. Well, we heard of Sage Ann Thomas, who married John Gelling. Now, her mother, Anne Cosnahan, had married a retired naval physician, Dr. Thomas, who went on to practice in Peel, although they were living at Ballacosna. Sage Anne was among several daughters born to Anne Thomas, but there were no surviving sons, so on the death of Anne Thomas in 1824, she left Ballacosna to her daughter Margaret, who is presumably the fair owner referred to here. Well, she passed it on to her nephew, who was called, surprisingly enough, Ronald MacDonald, and he was the son of her sister Maria, and he sold it to his cousin, Colonel Anderson, the son of Margaret's sister Sophia. Now, Colonel William Anderson was well known for reviving interest in the parish walk. He was born in the year of this poem, in fact 1832, and he died in 1912, did Colonel Anderson. Mahon heen, nim chit as bim mahayan shaw fi venig davracha. The jarut am iskriw nish, les milior miljoen, as geestjach rish kawag na tri shan deniet an in sail jorum. Te Jane the vella ginu veg fine lay, ach vein and sai on shaw as lord. Tan pert na lai foam, lesher and chow hall, unwalle ljauwer as clach rail, vis sheena mach a chien, les kroon gus en chow mooi egen chaunje, as se vein je shaw te toer sailje. Te bolle mare trom na lai jorish. An chow was je tan bolle mare ons kumme uljen de contrairtach, as a chaun ege nies te toer sailje. Edder en de chollu, te burne groen stjach se furt, vis esch ljenach de doltajem. Stjesje e Glen Maye, ach tret een moe graaion, te tanniger sulges weg, as genellig struwen escon, rai ed a grantjen geni, les carrican on shaws and shen. And as we're talking about the port, here's a song for the evening as the fishing boats leave harbour.
Where at home the lamps are lighting one.
Now the boats are outward sailing. Words by Ushag, Josephine Kermode, set to music by W.H. Gill. And it was Pam Duchars, Anne and Peter Fletcher, Alan Wilcox, and they were accompanied by Fenella Basin. Now the boats are outward sailing. CAARJYN COOIDJAGH, CHRISJYN COOIDJAGH, CAARJYN COOIDJAGH, TASHIN GUI. Chow mwy Jane Furt, an chow shaw, ta scair wŵr geri sws rish muslie vila, as an oer birach G rai maag de girach vai chow chulu Jane tour sailse jas. Egen chaun G ta bui lesh clag, vis leeste on strach erish, as de kormach shien dobberach gie. Sein da braich Jane shan dunje me chaun shaw, te chitten red shaw. Still farther on appears a villa gay, the neatest thing you've seen the livelong day. True taste and elegance there lead the way. It's a tranquil and a sweet retreat, where smiling loves upon the graves wait. Now I wonder if this is the Reverend Stephen buttering up John Quain of Ballabruey, a member of the House of Keys, since it's out that way, or the other Keys member mentioned earlier, John Seward Gelling. He was in Slewallion at the time. Anyway, whichever one, as I say, the fact that he's rather given this wonderful picture of this villa gay because it's so nice, is it to do with buttering up these members of the House of Keys. Anyway, more from the Reverend Stephen next time. As Shene reached the Jaru, Tantrair Jit, so there we have to pause. We close with the music of the trio Barul as they perform a set of Manx tunes under the overall title of The Wheel of Fire. The Wheel of Fire, the shape that Manannán adopted to roll along the hilltops. In just a few minutes' time, Chris Pearson will be here with 2 hours of the best chill-out music for a Sunday evening from 7 to 9 o'clock. And at 9, Judith Lay will be here with Sundown. Ach, nish signed on Square Way Shaw. And so, until the next time, this is Robert Carswell, Robert a Carslach.
Old Bobby Bob.
Wishing you a very good night. Eve, I'm a Crieri will you, as Orser Lier, as my Yiri and shared you.